Did you just arrive?
I arrived at midnight last night, yeah, from London. I'm actually prepping something else, so I couldn't be here particularly early.
Loki, one of the great villains of the Marvel Universe.
It certainly is.
A lot of fun to play, like a lot of villains are.
Yeah.
Where you kind of put a wide range you have here. Have editors for the specific parameters you're dealing with.
No, I think, well, we sort of, Ken and I discussed it a lot very early on, because we both read a lot of the comics, and there were so many facets of him in the comics. There was the kind of agent of chaos who would go down to Earth and turn whales into sea serpents and clouds into dragons and whole streets of cars in New York into ice cream. And but then there was also this damaged brother, this younger brother who didn't receive as much love as his elder brother, and who was, passed over, rejected, betrayed. And I think that became really interesting for both of us. Ken and I suddenly decided we wanted to root all of his mischief in a truthful psychological damage. He essentially was the younger brother who was never going to be king, and he wished that he could. And so all of his stuff comes from wanting to please his father, although there's a big reveal about who his father really is in the course of the film, which I won't reveal. But that it was rooted in that. I found the duality of that. It's sort of like, he's a villain, he has a lot of fun, he's a mischievous prankster, but at the same time, he's in deep pain.
Does that reveal something that's not in the comic books? That's a surprise?
No, it's in the comics.
Okay, so we can do our research.
You can, yeah. Look into the truth of Loki's lineage, and you will find it.
Were you aware that Loki was a woman for the last several years in the comic books?
Yeah, but I thought, why have you given me the job? I haven't really got the materials. But he's only a woman. He comes back as a woman after Ragnarok. I don't know if you guys know what Ragnarok is, but in Norse mythology, Ragnarok is the end of time. It's the end of not just the world, it's the end of the universe. And Thor is pulled back. The spirit of Thor is pulled back from the kind of underworld, and he recreates Asgard somewhere in New Mexico. And he brings all of the key figures from Asgard back, and he brings Loki back, and Loki just chooses to come back in the body of a woman. And then what's later revealed is that he's come back, he's stolen the body of Sif, and he's come back inside Sif's body. But this is way ahead in kind of the evolution of the mythology. So
you've done your research, though, obviously.
So if you came back as a woman, what's the first thing you would do?
Implants, I would say.
Implants are the first thing you would do.
I don't know what I'm going to do with these guys.
Wow, you're going to go right into surgery. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, I would say... no, what, you mean if I already had them?
I mean, you come back in the body of a woman, you're okay. You're all set.
I might go pole dancing.
Oh, all right.
That's what that feels like.
Make a good living.
Yeah.
What did he give you to play the villain?
Interestingly enough, he said to have a look at Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole in two specific films, The Lion in Winter and Lawrence and Arabia. Two magnificent performances. And what's interesting about The Lion in Winter is he plays King Henry. And essentially it's about, what's beautiful about his performance is that you see how damaged he is. And there's a rawness, it's almost as if he's living with that, with a layer of skin peeled away. He's grandiose and teary, and in a moment, by turns, hilarious, and then terrifying. I mean, what we wanted was that kind of emotional volatility. He said, just have a look, not necessarily like, it's different acting styles, it's not quite the same thing, but there was it's fascinating to go back and watch an actor as great as O'Toole and to those high hills. And then actually on set, we used to do different takes of different scenes, and we'd have 3 different versions. The first one would always be like, he said you can have one for free. The second take would be the Peter O'Toole take. The third take would be the Clint Eastwood take. And the fourth take would be the Jack Nicholson. So it's like, I had these 3 great actors, who were kind of like, I was trying to pull stuff from.
So which one ended up being used more often?
He used to love the Clint, actually. It was between the Clint and the Jack. Because the Clint would be like, whatever you're feeling, put it away in a drawer somewhere at the bottom of you and throw away the key. And Jack would be just like, have a really good time. You know, it was like a relish, a deep sort of sense of enjoyment. He was really enjoying himself.
I have an army.